This is before he fought and knocked out Jinsaki in 5. Brian Norman said he wants to fight Pacquiao, but his true ambition is to fight for the WBC. He wants the WBC belt, and that's where his aim is. And obviously, it's up in the air with the IBF and the WBA. That's understandably so for him. So his aim is to, get the WBC. But he said he would do Manny Pacquiao like Pacquiao did De La Hoya and retire him. And we know Pacquiao drained De La Hoya. You know what I'm saying? But he put them hands on De La Hoya. They said De La Hoya couldn't even come in. Like, he couldn't even rehydrate that much. And like I said before, and I agree with Greg Hacken when he say box rec don't tell the whole story, and it don't. It do not tell the whole story of a lot of these situations and stuff of that nature. But, so be it. I think it's more so him getting the WBC belt, him getting the opportunity to line himself in the legend, and the division got weaker with Jerron Business walking away. I know somebody said, well, he had a lackluster welterweight run. Had he cleaned the division out, y'all still would have called the run lackluster because it didn't have the names. It wasn't his fault, per se. Virgil outgrew the weight class. Crawford and Spence wasn't obligated to fight him, win, lose, or draw. Who else? Pacquiao wasn't going to fight him. Had he beat T.O., T.O. would have been, he was really a junior welterweight. He wasn't that, so whatever he would have done, if he unified the division, it was a weak, undisputed run, and it doesn't matter what he would have done. People want to continue to find a way is going to demote the man. So, I hope he have a better run at 54, and it's whatever, bro. Had he beat Norman, had he beat Barrios, y'all would have been saying the same thing. The politics is what defeated Jerron Ennis at welterweight. But had it not been, politics not been on the way, he cleaned everybody up, y'all still would have said it was a lackluster run. Because today's people have been, conditioned that believe namesake is all that matter. It doesn't matter about the quality of the apparel, the quality of the material. They just looking at the aesthetics. They just looking at the aesthetics. And that's my issue with it. They just let name brands, do that to them. But back to Norman, that's the money guy in the division. Barrios has got a G pass from not fighting everybody else. He made money versus Abel Ramos, and I believe that was a draw. Most people thought he lost that fight. He fight Manny Pacquiao. And Pacquiao gonna stick around. I believe most people believe, he can do what he want to do. But Norman, I think he'd do himself a disservice because a closed mouth don't get fed. I believe he would do himself a disservice by not throwing his name in the hat. Hey, letting him know, hey, look here, WBC, I'm interested in the title. Manny Pacquiao, I'm interested in fighting you. If you don't say nothing, then, down, I would have fought him. He never called me out. And, so you know how the game goes. You know how the game goes. So I find that funny. So, am I interested in the fight? If they fight, they fight. No, I really don't care about the Barrios fight. I really don't. And a lot of people point out, ain't one brother on that undercard. I told you, Al don't be giving the hell about that, bro. So, I've seen enough of Manny Pacquiao when that Japanese nigga went upside his head. I seen enough of Pacquiao when the Ordenis Ugas thing happened. I seen enough. But a lot of these dudes don't have nothing else to hang their hat on. They broke, or they just bored at the crib, and they don't want to let this shit go. And really, this generation has never recovered from what Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather did to it. From 08, 07, 08, 09, all the way to now. It's had a negative side effect on boxing. From everybody believing that, let's build it, let's marinate every fight. They're marinating fights that ain't worth 1,000 pay-per-views. That ain't worth 100,000 pay-per-views. Ain't that wild? You know, they marinating fights that shouldn't be marinated. And then, you know, these fighters now, they get into these big fights and nobody leaving, nobody, strapping their nuts on. Everybody fighting not to lose. You know, everybody want to fight like Mayweather. Oh, I want to, leave my speech intact. I want to take the less punishment. Hey, if you don't want to take no punishment, why be in the sport where punishment is everything the sport is, from punishing your body in training, punishing your body in the gym with sparring, and that's all you do is punish your body. And the fight is punishment. So why join the sport if you so concerned about taking punishment? Guess what? If I don't like getting hit, I ain't gonna play football. If I don't like getting hit, I ain't gonna do MMA. I know MMA. I'm not gonna do it. So why do it? We have other avenues in America and around the world to make snaps. I just feel that way. So if that's your aim, is that I don't want to take punishment, I don't want to take no punishment, don't be in the sport. I'm not saying being reckless and go balls to the wall, but when you get into these elite level fights, people want to be entertained. And let me say that, people want to be entertained. That's all. People want the Hagler Hearns back. People want, big name, big action type fights. That's what they want. But, so be it. So we still dealing with the how negatively impactful that fight was. We still dealing with it. But, you talking about a 23-year-old and Brian Norman, when this fight first came about, you know what I'm saying? Like, what was dog? It was what, 13 in 2015. No, when this fight started coming about, it was like 7, 8 years old when people started first talking about Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather. He's in fucking second and third grade, bro. Let that sink in your brain for a minute. Let that sink in your brain for a minute. And it's no different when you talk about some of these jobs that these old heads is holding, and they holding hostage when they should retire and let somebody else have the job because they didn't make the right financial decisions in their life. You know what I'm saying? That's the crazy thing about it. You got guys been on the job 30, 40, 50 years. Like, damn, nigga, let somebody else get a chance. They don't want to let it go. They don't want to let it go. And that's the crazy thing about it. Crazy thing about life. They do not want to let that shit go. Even though Mayweather don't professionally fight no more, his exhibitions overlay the sport. He meeting with these guys and, they missing weight and his impact on the sport, bro. Like you just let you know what type of OGs these guys really are. Real talk. But, Brian Norman, collect the belt, stay there as long as there's not much danger. You're going to maybe have a Bernard Hopkins type of benefit, a Marvin Hagler type of benefit, and you're going to get smaller guys with names moving up to fight you. Whether it's Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, Rolly Rolando Romero. Some of these smaller guys are moving up into the welterweight division. You know what I'm saying? So, there's going to be opportunities to make your namesake off these dudes. At some point, people was calling these guys the Four Kings or whatever, because they had that type of potential. With time, it all tells. And all these dudes did was, for the most part, a lot of these guys are going to waste their primes. They're going to waste their 20s dancing around each other. And when they do fight each other, the expectations are going to be so great that they can't even meet them, let alone exceed them. So we'll see. But for the most part, I look forward to it. if that's what he want to do. But you know, PBC is probably gonna have some type of situation going between Rolly Barrios and Manny Pacquiao. That's what I would expect. Barrios come out, maybe he'll rematch Abel Ramos again, but so be it. So Brian Norman is gonna be a victim of politics. That's the number one thing. That's all, you know. That's held them back. Is gonna be the politics. Everybody trying to protect their assets. Nobody trying to take no risk. They go down protecting their assets, going bankrupt, and all the TV companies pulling their money away from the deal before they step out, before they do something different. And that's the definition of insanity. You know, doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same results. And this is the shit I'm talking about once again in another video. You got two semi trucks in a 2-lane highway right now going side by side. You both supposed to be over to the right. Why block the freeway? I literally don't understand it, bro. I legitimately don't understand it. Why they do the shit like that, dog. Get your ass to the right lane. And I get it. Some truck drivers get paid by the low. Hey, you chose it. You chose this. You chose this life. Real time, I know this truck driver, whatever, we was talking, and he told me that his company had a loophole where they pay them by, they do a hybrid pay by the load, pay by the hour, and that makes them not have to pay them overtime. I'm like, damn. He was like, I know somebody, one of my friends, he makes $176,000 a year, and I say, yeah. And that's how it is, bro. That's why the food is so fucked up. That's why everybody's sick in America. Money. Everybody trying to cut corners, bro. That's all it is, man. But hey, check out the Welterweight Talk playlist. Check out the Boxing Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications. Christian Chance get notifications. We go live and drop video. Hit the link tree. Find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Peace. Join Patreon.